Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Cheyenne here, and as you probably already know, I have been practicing my speaking, and here's another video because my coach has tasked me with the task of videoing myself speaking because obviously it's going to help me out. So for this video, I am going to read out of one of my all-time favorite books. I'm just going to open up to a random page and read for you. I've learned to love reading out loud. It's almost like good meditative and therapeutic. So let's get right into it, folks. All right, let's go to this chapter. So just to give you a perspective or some background on this book, it is a question and answer book. So one man is speaking to another man. So that's why it's kind of like a question and answer. It's almost like an interview with the devil or whatever you want to call that thing. What relationship is there between time and the operation of the law of hypnotic rhythm? The time is the law of hypnotic rhythm. The lapse of time required to give permanency to thought habits depends upon the object and the nature of the thoughts. But I understood you to say that the only enduring thing in nature is change. Now, if that is true, then time is constantly changing, rearranging, and recombining all things, including one's thought habits. How then could the law of hypnotic rhythm give permanency to one's thought habits? Well, time divides all thought habits into two classes: negative thoughts and positive thoughts. One's individual thoughts are, of course, constantly changing and being recombined to suit the individual's desires. But thoughts do not change from negative to positive or vice versa, except through voluntary effort on the part of the individual. The time it penalizes the individual for all negative thoughts and rewards him for all positive thoughts, according to the nature and purpose of the thoughts. If one's dominating thoughts are negative, at time it penalizes the individual by building in his mind the habit of negative thinking, and then proceeds to solidify this habit into permanency every second of his existence. The positive thoughts are likewise woven by time into permanent habits. The term permanency, of course, refers to the natural life of the individual. In the strict sense of the term, nothing is permanent. Time converts thought habits into what might be called permanency during the life of the individual. Now I have a better understanding of how time works. What other characteristics has time in connection with the earthly destiny of human beings? Time is nature's seasoning influence through which human experience may be ripened into wisdom. People are not born with the wisdom, but they are born with the capacity to think, and they may, through the lapse of time, think their way into wisdom. Do youths ever possess wisdom? Only in very elementary matters. Wisdom comes only through the lapse of time. it cannot be inherited, and it cannot be imparted from one person to another except through the lapse of time. So does the lapse of time force an individual to acquire wisdom? No. Wisdom comes only to non-drifters who form positive thought habits as a dominating force in their lives. Drifters and those whose dominating thoughts are negative never acquire wisdom except of a very elementary nature. So from what you say, I infer time is the friend of the person who trains his mind to follow positive thought habits, and the enemy of the person who drifts into negative thought habits. Is that correct? That is precisely true. All people can be classified as drifters or non-drifters. Drifters are always at the mercy of the non-drifters, and time makes this relationship permanent. So do you mean that if I drift along through life without definite purpose or aim, the non-drifter may become my master? And time only serves to give the non-drifter a strong and more permanent hold upon me. That is stating the truth exactly. What is wisdom? Wisdom is the ability to relate yourself to nature's laws so as to make them serve you, and the ability to relate yourself to other people so as to gain their harmonious, willing cooperation in helping you to make life yield whatever you demand of it. All right, so that is my reading from one of my favorite books of all time. Now we're going to enter the part of the video where I do a critique of my speaking in this video, and my critique on how I could improve on this video would be to project my voice a little more. There are some people in the house that are sleeping, so to start out the video, that was the first thing that popped into my head, was that I have to hold back a little bit because I don't want to wake the people up. And I feel like that first thought of kind of holding back, it kind of persisted throughout the majority of me reading out loud. So therefore it was kind of in the back of my head the whole time. So it made it a little bit harder for me to truly become a part of the book and to stay in the moment. So for the next time, whenever one of those thoughts, and it could even be the smallest thought of holding back, pops into my head, I will extinguish it immediately and continue. All right, guys, y'all have a fantastic day. Peace out.